Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of YTKS, the Yak Tribe Kayak Show. I'm your host Heath, and I'm excited to be with you here today. If you're new to the show, I wanted to welcome you, and if you're not new, I wanted to say thank you so much for sticking around as long as you have and supporting what we're doing. Guys, the comments and the feedback and the DMs and the reviews, it's all incredibly encouraging, and I'm so thankful for you guys for really being a part of what we got going on. We're going to have Hunter with Z-Bait Co. on with us today. He is out in South Philly, Pennsylvania. I think that's where he's at. And he's going to be giving away a Z-Bait pack, all right, which includes a hat, a bunch of baits, and things like that. I'll let him get to that. And, hey, real quick, I wanted to get a shout-out to my buddy Mike Malone. His Instagram is Cajun_Kahuna_outdoors. And so hang on for a second. He gave me these pictures at Ride the Bull 2019, last month. And so they're both trouts. I'm trying to show them to you here. Hang on. So there's a trout eating a bait. And then here is a sick drawing of a trout. And so let me put these away. And so Mike hand drew those. And so I'm so thankful for this gift. I was in Rex Stilray's van recording one of his first podcast that he's going to be releasing, and I saw Mike coming up, so I hopped out the van. I was like, hopped out. I was like, Mike, what's up? And he handed me these two pictures, and so I am forever grateful and thankful for that gift. It's a priceless gift to me, and I will be hanging them up. I was going to hang them up in my office, but then my wife, as I was leaving the house this morning, she's like, where are you bringing those pictures? I was like, to the office, and she was like, why don't you just hang them up here? Now, my mind was blown because I was like, wait, I can hang up a fishing picture in my house? And that's the first time in like over 7 years of marriage that she was like, hey, why don't you hang those up in our house? I was like, oh my goodness. So I think they're going to be hung up in my house. So Mike, thank you so much. You can find his art Instagram. That is Cajun_Kahuna_illustrations. I'll put both of those links in the bio. Check him out. Does amazing hand-drawn stuff. So Mike, thank you, brother, so much. And so also I wanted to remind everybody that we have a kayak giveaway going on with Crescent Kayaks. All you have to do is go to www.yak-tribe/kayak. Fill in your information, guys. Please share it. Please get involved. I need as many eyeballs and views on this as possible. That way I can continue to give away gifts at this level, this caliber type of giveaway. So kayak, that's a big deal. I'd love to keep those giveaways high end like that, and so I can't do that without your guys' support and without you guys sharing it and getting eyeballs and views on this thing so I can justify it going forward. And so guys, let's go ahead and get into the show. We are going to give Hunter a call.
Hello.
Hey Hunter, what's up, bro?
Hey man, how you doing?
Hey, I just want to say so that people who are watching, they know what really goes down on this show. So Hunter and I were like 7 minutes into the last episode, and it just had to be with you that I experienced my first technical difficulty live on the set. And so like we're talking, and then my Tascam just decides that it doesn't want to be on right now and just turns off mid-sentence. And so it's hard to recreate organically what just happened, but we're going to do our best. We only got past like the first question, so really everything after the first question is not a repeat or an act. So man, glad to have you on the show. Glad for you to be here. I know you're packing baits right now, and you could be doing anything else. So thanks for not only being here, but going through a second time as far as this first question goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now you just get to make sure that I was telling the truth, right?
Exactly. Now, really you got to break the ice and like get yourself comfortable, and like maybe if you didn't say something the first time or said something you didn't like, now you can tell the truth. Man, so let's just hop right back into it. And what's funny is like I got so paranoid and scared at my Tascam turning off again. I went into the main settings and I made it save a new file every 5 minutes because I was like, no way is this happening again.
Well, hopefully it doesn't.
Yeah, man. All right, bro. Well, thanks. Here we go. So tell me a little bit about Hunter. What did you do before you started manufacturing baits? And also, I know that you have a design and background, which shows, I just want to say, now that we're going through this again, make a little comment on that. Your design and background, what are you scratching?
Oh, sorry. Can you hear that? I was shaking some bait in a bunch of bass syrup.
Nice. No, I was saying, so your design and your background in design really shows when it comes to your business. I mean, everything is so sharp and so well done. You would almost think that you outsource everything, but I know from personal experience that you are a one-stop shop, really, when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I try to do as much in-house as I possibly can.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I like we said before, when we were recording before, just to start off with the fact that I'm only 27. I don't think age really makes a difference, but it'll put something into a little bit of perspective as far as timeline goes. So I didn't graduate from college too long ago. I did go to Maryland Institute College of Art in Baltimore. I loved living in Baltimore. I grew up on a farm, a sheep farm. So,
Did you say sheep farm?
Yeah, we had some sheep, about 40 sheep, small sheep, miniature sheep, and we had some chickens. And it wasn't a very big farm, just a small, like 5-acre farm. Nice. In Pennsylvania. So I went from that to then living in Baltimore for the first time for college. Never lived in a city before. Wasn't really too fond of the city, but grew to like it. Went there for ceramics and like throwing on the wheel. But I did mostly sculptural work, so making sculptures out of clay and stuff like that. Didn't think that it was too much more for me, so I figured out how to weld. Took some sculptural classes in metalwork, and then they kind of were like, your stuff is not organic enough. It's too like mechanical and it's too like real world, for lack of better words. Mm-hmm. And then I figured out that there was a industrial design and consumer product development course or major at MICA, and kind of went and checked that out. And I was like, yes, this is exactly what I want to do. They were developing products that like you and I use every day, from a toothbrush to a pair of shoes, which I thought was pretty cool. So while I was in that, I worked for Stanley Black & Decker, DeWalt, Under Armour, a couple other companies on real life projects like headlamps.
So is this still through like a internship?
Yeah, this was all during class. So like my professor hooked us up with Under Armour, who was based out of Baltimore, and DeWalt, which is based out of just north of Baltimore. So this was like, instead of having like the teacher coming up with, scenarios, she went out and actually acquired us real, like, actual design projects that say DeWalt. Like we worked on a headlamp for them, some phone case stuff, and active wear for Under Armour. And some of it's on the market now, which is pretty cool. So, I could have gone right from college. Like some of my friends went right from college, worked for Under Armour, work for other companies now. And I could have done the exact same thing, but I didn't really want to like sit behind a desk all day. That's sort of the standard thing you hear people say.
Right.
And I definitely wanted to like do something that I had sort of full control over, or, run my own business. I kind of knew that from the start. So I took a year off, didn't really know what I wanted to do. Just kind of hung out, was in Maryland a lot at my family's house in the Chesapeake Bay, fished a ton. And then my friend, who I've known since we were in 3rd grade, he lives with me still. Dom, that's his name, Dominic. A lot of you guys have maybe met him on the road while we're doing a trade shows, things like that.
Stuff, yeah.
Yeah, he's the other guy that's kind of always with me on the road, besides Chris Santoro, who's also on the road with me.
Which a lot of these questions are actually coming from Chris Santoro. I texted Chris, okay. I was like, what do I ask Hunter?
Well, he of all people probably knows me pretty well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we kind of just figured, we're fishing one day and we're like, hey, there's like, these baits are like ripping really fast. Like basically we were out fishing and I looked down and I'm like, I just went through 3 packs of bait in like, a half an hour, an hour. Now, granted, the fish were killing it, but still, I'm like, this is like,
right.
There's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way to do this.
Yeah.
I had, knowledge of manufacturing and mold making and material specialties and things like that. So I was like, there's got to be a better material that we can use to do this. Also, it's kind of been apparent that obviously design in fishing lures is getting a little repetitive.
Right.
Or people take
there's
this
not too much
aspect,
innovation.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah, not really. I mean, maybe in the last year and a half, I would say there actually has been, but there was a need in 2015, 14, 16, kind of when I was starting Z-Baco. It was pretty repetitive. There hadn't been much change. So I asked my friend Dom if he could hand carve some bass lures out of wood, and he had done musky lures in the past just for fun. And he was like, yeah, probably. And so he did a couple. And one of them was the Bamboo Bomber, which we do still sell today. It's gone through quite a few variations. But we made basic molds first, tested them out ourselves. We're pretty impressed that they were actually catching fish. Didn't really have a plan to really make it a business at first, I would say. It was more just for personal use. And then I was kind of like, well, maybe we can make this a business. And did a lot of research, reading on forums and bait making forums, and called some companies and just kind of like told them I was doing it for a college project about mold making and mass producing of baits, just to see like what they would tell me, to see like if they would tell me any information that was useful. And kind of went from there. And then like within a year, this is all like within a summer, this happened. We found out that we could sell these at our local like hunting and fishing show in Pennsylvania. So we figured out how to make aluminum molds versus these silicone molds that we had, which are pretty like basic and rudimentary. I had a company make us some molds. I did some quick branding. Like you said, I do all my own branding, from the website to clothing to packaging, everything. And we went to this trade show with like hardly any product in comparison to what we have now, and did really well, nearly like sold out of everything. And we were like, okay, we got something here. Like we definitely need to, send some bait out to some guys. We did a lot of like sending bait out to college anglers, guys who were like very receptive to like give us good feedback, and like didn't want a lot of money, because at the time we didn't have any money for it.
Right.
And like we just kind of rolled with it as it happened. And then I decided to get my master's degree at Micah again in like a specialized small business art and design program that was online. That's like brand new that they have there. And I was one of the youngest, actually the youngest person that was ever in it dropped out after the first week. So I guess technically I was the youngest person that ever graduated from the program. It was only 3 years old at the time. So I was doing Z-Baco as my thesis while I was in grad school trying to get this company started.
You're like proving the model in business as you were
pretty much.
Yeah.
And
That's cool.
Yeah. So like, I'm in this business program. Like I'm okay at math. It was basically a program I say is how to sit in a business meeting and not look like an idiot is kind of what I got out of it. It gave you the basics of business, how to read boring things for business,
sure.
But the things that are like real, that like you have to know how to understand money and daily operation costs and things like that. So I was doing all of that, and we kind of like just kind of kept growing, and then we were hand injecting everything, which if anybody watching this or listening to this knows the process and the strain and the time it takes to do that. It was like very painful. And during that process, this was in 2000. Well, I guess this was probably 2016, 17, I think it was. I guess, 2016. And we figured out that it was not viable to make bait, but like 6 pieces at a time.
Right.
Like
right.
that's not even a pack of bait, like that was ridiculous to even think that. So we figured out that like, we may be able to find a manufacturer that would do it for us, which was extremely difficult. There's not a lot of manufacturers for soft plastics in the country to begin with, and most of them like are huge. It makes up like Bass Pro Shop and Strike King and all the other big companies. So it was pretty funny because I was like, well, hey, let's go to ICAST. Like, you know,
take the show on the road.
Yeah, like
see what happens. Yeah,
we did a couple trade shows around the country, like down the East Coast, and I redid our packaging. We got like legit laminated packaging. That was like the biggest thing we had ever spent money on besides molds, which is the old black packaging that most people know our baits by, if you've ever used them, comparatively to the white, nice, fancy, bright green white packaging we have now. So we did that, and we went to ICAST, and it was pretty cool. Didn't get any retailers from it. And we were like, well, okay, that was cool. Really eye-opening, unbelievable. I mean, you've been there to see all the people in the industry, just like an amazing show. And I was like, wow, we got to step this up. Like, we are still like farm grown.
It's like a reality check, right?
Oh yeah. Like we were like, okay, this is not this. We need to amp this up.
Yeah. So, I like those moments, bro, where it's like, I mean, they kind of suck for a minute, but it's like, you think you're doing good, right? Like in business or life or whatever project you're working on. You're like, this is good. Like, look how far I've come. And then you do something and you're like, holy crap, I've done nothing. And then so really it's like you really only have two paths. It's like, okay, do I just continue to do what I'm doing and like, or like stop, or is that a motivator? And you're like, you know what, man, like it's time to like stop giving glory to like everything I did and like, let's get it now. Let's start. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, it's just like you got like, luckily because of my knowledge of learning how to do graphic work and graphic design from friends who now work at Under Armour and these big companies, I didn't take a graphic design class ever. I learned it all from my friends that I lived with. And like being able to do that immediately, I was able to make the company look bigger from the start than it actually was.
That's like a big thing I always talk about is like faking it till you make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, and there's a fine line. Like, I mean, like I said, like at the beginning of this, like it's me every day. The only other person is Dominic, and he only works 1 day a week for me. That's it. I don't have any other employees. I don't outsource hardly anything. So like, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like we're faking it really well, but like we still need help to grow.
Right.
And like still need help to like, you know, just make a bigger name for the industry, and for the company. But yeah, so basically like I just kind of used my skills in branding and then, you know, continually improving on the product. Like I said, we're always striving for a bait that is a different design and like a better material, because at the end of the day, like I'm big into kayak fishing. Obviously that's how I knew you and how I met you. And, you know, fishing on a kayak, you got to take a lot less stuff with you.
Sure.
Like in perspective. Right. So that's kind of was my mission, was to always be able to like have the guys who are kayak fishing being able to take what they want and like not have to worry about it.
Yeah. Not to have to take 100 of them. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel you.
But yeah, so, you know, I just kind of started the company. You know, that's how most companies grow. People think companies just come out of nowhere overnight, and like they don't see that, you know, the weeks, like I'm sitting here prepping bait for spring, like for trade shows. Like they don't see that. They just see it at the end of the day, you know?
Right.
But,
yeah, man, you and I are a lot alike. Like we said at the beginning of the show, you know, this, like I talked with Rex, you know, the people in our position, it's really an eat what you kill kind of thing. And so like, if it doesn't get done, it doesn't get done. And so,
absolutely.
And so like as a small business owner, and you're sitting there prepping bait for spring, and I'm sitting here doing my thing, whatever the case is, you know, if something needs to get done, the first thing you and I do is see, can I do this myself? Like, how hard is it really? And what's the process? And so I feel like if you start thinking like that, so like here's the thing, right? Like you turned me on to cutting vinyl, right? And
Right,
so
yeah.
like you helped me with that process, like picking out the right machine. And in return, what's funny enough is like I've helped 2 other people get into vinyl, like because of like the first tips that you gave me. And so it's like,
Yeah.
man, I could keep paying somebody else to cut me vinyl and me paying like an absurd amount of money
Yeah, right.
for what the cost is, right? Or I could see if like, do I have the time to maybe introduce this into my day? And then like, what's the real cost involved? Oh, I have a buddy who does that. Well, before I called you, I did a little bit of research myself, and then you were able to like back me up and really dial me in. And so like now I'm able to do that in-house. And so you have to be, if you're a small business owner, I guess there definitely is a time to like, as you grow, outsource and hire and whatever the case is.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
when
Yeah, and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the like fine line.
Yeah, that's a fine line. But when you're in it, like, and it's a startup, and you're doing your thing, you have to figure out what can you do yourself to maximize the look and maximize the impact and lower the cost. And, and now that you and I have vinyl machines, we're really, and we know graphic design and we know a little bit of web development, we can really cut all of that cost out of our business. And it didn't just happen overnight. Like this took years and years of us trying to figure out how we can actually like do
Oh,
this,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like I do a lot with graphic work, like I was saying, and like our new packaging took me like 2 years to find somebody that I could work with that was based in the United States. Like I said, our packaging is basically the only thing that is not made in the United States as far as our like the white label, our premium tournament grade product line is considered. But like I still wanted it to look good. I'm so detailed with the packaging that like everything is designed down to like a 16th of an inch that like it needs to fit how I want it to fit.
Right.
And finding other companies that are willing to like deal with somebody who knows the scrutiny of a level of design and
right. They can't just pump it out
detail.
and be happy with it. Like,
right, exactly. And that was a big struggle too with that. But yeah, like people just don't. I mean, I do a ton of work on the side for other bait companies. That's kind of a new thing.
Hey, let's pause on that question actually, Hunter, because
Okay.
that is actually like my next question that we're going to try and get through, which is, I know you're starting to not only expand Z-Bait and what you're doing, but you're starting to play an important role in helping other bait companies get off the ground.
Yeah. So I like you kind of like segue me into thinking about it is because like me helping you figure out how to use and get a vinyl plotter and do all that. I was going to wrap my truck, right? And to wrap a Tundra, which is what I have that you guys maybe seen on the road, that cost a couple $1,000, right? And yeah,
plus
it looks
design,
really,
plus
design, because I can design stuff, but I can't do a full wrap. And like it's super cool and it looks awesome, but like I went out and bought a really nice vinyl plotter and all the material I could possibly need, and I put like $60 worth of vinyl on my truck. And that's what you guys have seen on the road for the past 3 years. And, that immediately saves the business money and allows me to go buy cool packaging that everybody gets to enjoy and use and keeps your baits nicer and things like that. And yeah, I kind of learned all that just from research. It's just putting in the time to research. And the internet is an incredible thing. Like I follow a ton of entrepreneurial guys and other business owners, and they literally just say you have the power of Google.
Yeah,
like
I was going to ask you that.
Search it.
Like when you have an idea, what do you do first? Do you call a buddy or do you go to Google?
I just go straight to Google and I search for hours, like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and go down in the little rabbit hole of this forum to that forum to this website to this supplier to European suppliers to suppliers in the United Kingdom, because the materials I'm very big into different types of materials and quality, and searching that out is tough, but it's all research. So I have all that skill and learned skill because I've just put the time in. So
right.
If I can go back and, like we were saying, there's a point where obviously it's better and saves you money and time as a business owner to go out and find someone who's better at it than you, where you don't have to worry about it anymore, because there's so much stress with running a small business. And if there's 2 hours out of your day you can get back, as you would know, that's a ton of time. And so I'm trying to go back, and I'm finding out that there's a lot of these bait companies that I see, they have great products, but they just have really poor branding. And it's because a friend did it for them, that, you know, or they had the worst is when they go, oh yeah, my packaging company did all the branding for me. And I'm like, oh, okay. So they didn't really care. They just kind of did it.
Right. So now you play a role in that design process.
Yeah. And I helped, a company get to ICAST with all their branding and redid all their website stuff. And
nice.
I'm not saying I'm crazy good at it, but like, you know, having good design, like a view on design, allows me to make somebody's website that's just a stock website look really good.
Right.
Like, I don't know how to code.
Right.
I mean, not to the extent that probably you do.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. It's like this. It's like I've had a few people recently, like some friends that have nothing to do with kayak fishing, reach out, and they're like, "Hey, I'm going back," and not to knock college. And so let me just say this, right? Like I dropped out of college 3 times. So like I went and dropped out and went and dropped out and went and dropped out.
Yeah, it's just not for some people.
And so
regular high school for me was, if I didn't play sports and do art, I would have quit.
Yeah, but it's like this, right? It's like for me though, I went ahead and did like the certification route, where it was like, let me do all like the hands-on, like what can I,
absolutely.
Like Adobe, like what are all the aspects of Adobe from like 8th grade to, you know, however old, you know, and like knock all that out and get fundamentals based. And so like now I have friends, or like, you know, I was a youth pastor for 4 years. And so even some of my kids, you know, that would ask for advice, and they're like, hey, I'm going to go to school for web design, right? And so like, hey, if that's your passion and like you really feel like you're going to get a lot out of that and you need that structure in your life and you want that degree, by all means, you should definitely do it. But if this isn't going to be something that you're going to put all your eggs in this basket and you just want to learn how to design for the sake of, I don't know, being able to design, go get you a Adobe Photoshop suite.
Spend the money on the software.
Spend the money on the software. Bro, you can get a $10 a month Adobe software subscription, which gives you access to Photoshop, Lightroom, I think some Adobe stock, and some different things, and then buy you on eBay and a little bit of an older book, Photoshop book, because that has all the fundamentals in it and nothing has really changed on Photoshop. And then just get after it. And I bet you if you get after it every night for 3 weeks, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I got this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I did with Illustrator. Like,
yeah, Illustrator, same thing. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know much about Photoshop. I do more than I should in Illustrator, but I mean, the money that I've personally saved in business using Illustrator, and that's totally learned skill.
Yeah,
but like you said,
skill.
You just have to be wanting to do it. So yeah, I'm just trying to use those skills that I learned in college. I wouldn't say for college, it was just the opportunity of learning the experiences from other people, because I went to an art school. So it's not that I learned like no one taught me how to do X. Like I still had to teach myself, and they opened the doors to me being able to meet these people who were really good at it.
Right.
And maybe that's how some people might need to go around college, you know?
No, I just say that because like there's a lot of people who might not be in the position to go back to college right now, but they're thinking
and
like
the best time in the world in the whole of ever, that you don't need to, as long as you commit to like teach yourself your own college. If you want to do YouTube every day, do it, but do it every single day.
And hone in on the craft. Yeah, that's
exactly.
Hey man, so go ahead.
Oh yeah, go ahead though.
No. I'm gonna switch gears on us because we're getting towards the end of the show a little bit, and I got 2 more questions for you, bro. And I think this is very valuable, like what you're saying, because I think it's gonna encourage people. I think it's gonna encourage people as far as when they're thinking about wanting to do something. I'm hoping that they're gonna start being like, man, this isn't as hard as I've always thought it was. You know what I'm saying? And so
you just gotta be willing to. For lack of better words, like if you have the opportunity to lose everything in the perspective of 5 years, and you can build it in 5 years, it's not like, yeah, you may lose everything, but like you can rebuild it back.
Right.
You know,
right.
like, you
Definitely.
know.
Hey man, so speak to me about this. How do you handle competition in the fishing industry when it comes to products and the types of baits out there in the market?
Yeah, so that's always fun. You just kind of got to do your own thing. Like, you know, we design baits, our full custom line of stuff, which is called a white label, right? That's like the ones that my friend hand carved and we designed ourselves and drew all the specs for and everything. You know, those are really unique. And we worked really hard to make them unique. And, you know, not everybody may not like them. And, you know, some people may think, oh, these don't have enough action. Well, that's all we were going for, you know. Maybe it was just to have a unique profile. And part of that is like, pretty much anybody could ask me, hey, have you heard of this soft bait? Probably. And I probably know what it looks like. It's just doing that research. It just always goes back to just research. And I buy tons of other companies' products just to look at them. I don't ever fish with them. We just look at them. Different colors, different shapes.
I want to overlay this video. What's that guy's name? Ed? He's like, just look at it. You know what video I'm talking about? That YouTube video?
Yeah.
just like to order the bids and just look at it.
Yeah, so, you know, and the key is I've tried because I'm a small business. I can't, the other companies in the industry, a lot of them are huge and they're corporate. And then like a lot of people may not realize that like so-and-so's company is actually owned by another company, which is owned by a conglomerate company. And you wouldn't know it. So I just try to steer away from, like, say when we make a totally custom product, I just steer as far away from anything else as possible. And then look at an aspect of other popular products and go, okay, why are these selling well? What colors do they come in? What shapes are they? Why are they making the action that a lot of fish like to bite, right? And then we just try to like design a new method to achieve maybe something similar, but in a new profile, which for those who fish, you know, we all know that, you know, a fish sees profile really well, especially largemouth bass. They have incredible eyesight. And if they see something that's new, the theory is that maybe they'll bite it more because they haven't been caught on it before. So, you know, you can't get away from your stick baits and your basic beaver creature baits and things like that, because at the end of the day, like, it is a business. People want to buy stuff they're used to. But then I like to tailor all of our custom line totally to the tournament guys that are really into it, or the tackle junkies that like want to try something new, you know? So it's getting harder because we're working on a couple new creature baits. And the creature bait market is super flooded. Like the whole, like, you know, after John Cruz brought out the D-bomb and all that kind of craze went for like compact creature, you know, it just exploded. And it is tough to come up with like new designs that, you know, because I don't want to step on anybody's feet. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm trying to be innovative. And it just takes a lot of time. That's all.
Yeah, I feel
just
you,
time
man.
to come up drawings. We do a lot of drawings before Dom hand carves something. And, you know, we still start with a hand carved tool. We don't go straight to 3D modeling until we're like done a couple basic molds. Cause it's just so expensive to produce like the final production molds that we use to make the baits that everybody uses now.
Right. The final product. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, so man, before I ask you this last question, we are giving away some Z-bait products. So what does that package entail exactly? You had messaged me a whole list, but you'd be better at telling me what that is.
Yeah. So we're gonna give away one of our newest hats, which we got in not too long ago, which is pretty cool. It's got like a patch on the front of it with a big bass on it. Gonna give away some of our Armacraws and the bamboo bombers, which I'm packing right now. And I can't remember what else I told you in the list. Some decals, and I believe some of our twig, which is one of our newest baits. It's like a 4-inch, super slim, most finesse stick bait on the market, which is why it's called a twig and not a stick. Just to be a little funny there.
Nice.
I have pretty dry humor, if you couldn't tell.
No, man, couldn't tell.
But so I'm gonna give a whole bunch of that stuff. It's about $60 worth of stuff.
Okay,
it's pretty much like the ultimate kit.
Yeah.
For like getting started, and I try to keep it varied. You know, maybe what you get if you win, maybe you don't want to use it, but give it to a friend. You know,
sure. Maybe
they'll like to use it,
yeah.
And it's all gonna be stuff from our white label tournament grade product line. So it's all the custom stuff that, you know, we took the time to truly innovate. So get a good sense of like the quality of material we use and how long the baits last, which is all really like why I started Z-Baitco.
Gotcha. Okay, man. Well, we are at the end of our show, but just if you could, in a minute or less, just let me know. For anybody listening right now, do you have any words of encouragement for those listening right now that may be looking to start a business of their own?
Yeah, I mean, you know, besides just saying do it, because I know that's not realistic, you know, just research, call people, just like everything we talked about, you know, look into it, you know, do the research on how many companies you'll be competing against, because that's a legitimate thing to look at. You know, get an idea of if it's a product-based thing, because that's really what I know, you know, look into, you know, trying to find someone who can make it for you and just call them and say, hey, what is it going to cost? And then think about what you can retail that at. And then if you don't have the money, well, find an investor. There's a lot of people willing to invest in companies if you got a good idea and you got, you know, if you think you got a good way to market it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just find a team if you can of guys who are willing to do it. You know, that's how Apple started, and that's how, like, I mean, all those great companies just started with a group of guys that all really liked something, no different than me and Dominic starting Z-Baitco. We just liked fishing and liked design.
Gotcha, man. Well, bro, I just wanted to say thank you very, very much for taking the time out of your day to be on this show. I hope that the information that is talked about on the show is valuable. And I just want to let you know, man, everybody who's watching this, thank you so much for the feedback, because the feedback I'm getting from you guys is not only encouragement to get more guys like Hunter on the phone, but Hunter, man, you know what's crazy is like I've gotten a message from a few teachers that are like playing these videos in their middle school and high school classrooms. That's because awesome. They know that there's other entrepreneurs on the phone and they want their kids to listen to it. So I just think it's so dope to be like a part of that. And so you were a part of that today, man. And I want to say thank you for being on the show, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, and man. You know, I'll continue to watch it and listen to it while I'm packing bait here in my office. I always have it on the TV, like I showed you the other day.
That old TV.
You know, it is nice to just hear other people's stories and, like you say, learn about the people behind the you know, the logo and behind the products, and that maybe a company like mine's just run by 1.5 men, you know?
Yep. Gotcha, man. Well, I appreciate you, man, and I will let you get back to packing those baits, brother.
Awesome, man. Yeah, have a good rest of your day.
All right, man. Thank you. See ya. All right, guys. Well, that was Hunter from Z-Bait, and I want to thank you guys. Hey, real quick before we talk about the giveaway, I wanted to introduce a new segment that we have going on called "What Are You Doing?" Part of the segment, and we're just going to call random Yak Tribe members and ask them what they're doing. So, let's give Adam Witbeck a call. I know that he is.
What's up,
Adam Witbeck? What's up, bro?
What's going on?
So I just added a new segment to the Yak Tribe Kayak Show, and I know you're on the job right now, and if you hang up on me, that's totally cool. But I started a new segment called "What Are You Doing?" where I call Yak Tribe guys and just see what they're doing, because nobody knows what the heck everybody in Yak Tribe actually does. So what are you doing, bro?
I am sitting on the front stoop at Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital.
Nice. So what are you doing today? Installing or what?
There is a piece of glass that has delaminating, so it's coming apart, that we did last August. So we have to meet up with the powers that be and talk about getting it replaced.
Gotcha. So for those who don't know, I mean, I think I mentioned this. By the time this show airs, I think it was 2 or 3 episodes ago, but Adam He was the first guy outside of being a little kid with my dad when I really got into like actually kayak fishing by myself. Adam Witbeck was the first guy I ever kayak fished, and so he might be a little embarrassed when I tell this story, but I'm gonna tell it anyway. So we were out fishing in Sarasota, I think Blackburn Point, and Adam had came through and he had a Hobie, right? It was like an olive Hobie that you had a trolling motor on the back. Yeah, it was, bro.
Was it that, or was it my new canoe?
No, it was a Hobie that it wasn't a pedal drive. It had a trolling motor on the back and a huge cooler.
And my Quest 11, I think.
Yeah, that's what it was. And so Adam was the first guy that I ever kayak fished with. And isn't that before you and I both used artificial full time?
Yeah, I had a cooler full of about 200 greenback.
That's right, you did, and some big shrimp. Remember that?
Yeah, too many in a cooler.
But that day, y'all were catching the snook on artificial. You didn't even really put those baits to use, really.
Right. Yep.
Well, anyways, before I hang up on you, man, so what exactly is it you do? I just wanted to do this segment real quick to let everybody know, like, what people in Yak Tribe, like, what their jobs are, so people can get to know, what, like, the real person behind the Instagram account. So what do you do?
Well, I recently have been with the glass company, Bay Glass and Window, for 14 years, and recently they just promoted me to project manager. So we install commercial glazing systems, big pieces of glass, and then we also do about 20% of our business is residential homes for their windows, impact windows.
Gotcha, man. And so you are married?
I am married. Just had our anniversary on September 4th, 9 years, and we've been together for 16.
Nice, man. Congratulations. That's awesome, bro.
Thank you.
Anyways, man, I will let you get back to it, and just wanted to thank you for taking the time real quick to be our first guest on the segment, What Are You Doing? So, all right, bro, I'll let you get back to it.
All right, appreciate it. Everybody have a good day.
Yeah. All right, guys, that was Adam Witbeck, and I'm actually going to call one more person. I hope you guys enjoy this. We're just calling random Yak Tribe members, say, what are you doing? And we're going to call Phil. It's Phil Logan out in Louisiana.
Yo.
Phil, what's up, bro?
What's up, brother?
Oh, man, you better not be sleeping because we're live on the Yak Tribe Kayak Show right now.
Well, I was about 2 minutes ago.
Oh, wow, man. Anyways, look, so I just started this new segment on the YTKS show, and it's called What Are You Doing?, where after the main portion of the show, I just had Hunter from Z-Bait on, just had Adam Witbeck on, and then at the end of our show, it's a new segment where I call Yak Tribe members and I ask them what they're doing because everybody knows everybody from their Instagram and their Facebook, but I just wanted to call you right now and just ask, what are you doing?
Well, actually, man, I was sleeping, man. But honestly, I was actually supposed to fish today and found out late last night that I wasn't going to be able to. So my job is pretty demanding in terms of the hours. So when I am off, I try to make sure I take off at least a day or two a week. And when I am off, I'm fishing.
Yeah, man, not today though.
Not today, so I was like, I'm gonna sleep away that depression. I'm gonna be sad, I'm gonna be mad and pissed off that I'm not gonna be able to fish. I'm just gonna sleep in it. I'm gonna sleep in, get that relaxation or whatever. Kind of take advantage of it.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But now, what are you doing in terms of like at the moment or what? Come on, help me out with that.
No, man, you lead the show. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just saying, like, what are you doing? So, hey, let me ask you. So you're married, right?
Yes.
All right, so you got a wife. What do you do? What do you do right now for a living? What do you plan on doing in the future? Like that kind of thing.
There you go. Help me out. I'm still kind of asleep. Yes, I'm married. She's definitely she's been a great help for me the past 7 years. It's an awesome thing to have a supportive, partner. At the moment, I'm working with a friend. A friend of mine owns a small chain of shoe stores and kind of like athletic shoes and athletic clothing. I started with him initially. I was asked to start to help him with his social media marketing and advertising. Although I've had no kind of training or degree in that, I was a little more adept than he was, and he saw that his business needed some help in regards to, his promotion.
Sure.
So he asked me to come on and help him with the promotion and advertising side of things, and I told him that I would. It was a close friend. I didn't see myself being a shoe salesman for sure, but I signed on, and initially took it on as a part-time job. Well, that was 7 years ago, and I've since been tied to it in more capacities than what I initially signed on for. So a lot of my time is consumed being in the store, essentially just managing the two locations from A to Z. So it's not just the social media stuff. So I don't have I'm not just doing that. So that's why I can't say it's fairly consuming. I have plans, and I don't want to talk about them too much, because I still have a lot to do before it comes into fruition.
Yep. Well, good. So then let's pause those plans, because I'm going to bring you back on the show here in like a week or so with Rex Del Rey, and I'm going to put both of you guys on the show one after the other. I'm doing a segment called How to Sight Fish, and so I think that you are one of the best, one of the better sight fishermen when it comes to redfish in that area down there in Louisiana. And so, you got a lot of good content online. And so I'm going to put you and Rex on the show and just start talking about because Rex is a big sight fisher too. He likes to do that.
Oh, he's killing it, man. He's killing it.
And so, I'm going to put both of you guys on the show and talk about how to sight fish so that we can offer some valuable information to people trying to learn how to do that.
Awesome, bro.
Yeah,
bro.
Good. Hey, look, man, I'll let you get back to your sleep, you sleepy guy.
Once in a year or something that happens.
Yeah,
man. All
right, man. I'll talk to you later. See you.
All right, bro.
All right, so that was Phil. You can find him at Redfishology on his Instagram account, and as well as Adam, which is A Witbeck. I'll link those in the description below. Guys, this is the end of our show. I want to thank you guys for sticking around, being part of what we got going on here at YTKS. This is a Yak Tribe Kayak Show, and so our episodes drop every Monday at 6 p.m. Guys, please don't forget to win that Z-Bait package. All you have to do, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you engage with our content. Guys, can I give you guys a goal? I'm really trying to get 100 reviews on Apple Podcasts. Can y'all help me out with that? If you have an iPhone, can you go leave us a review on Apple Podcast? That would mean the world to me. And so I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to enter to win that Crescent Kayak. All you have to do is go to yak-tribe/kayak, fill out that information. It's super quick. It'll take 15, 20 seconds, and just be real and honest there, and enter to win a Crescent Kayak. So that is the end of our show. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sticking out, and I will see you guys next Monday.